for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North.
What's up and what's good? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to All About Sports 216 with me, Keith Allen, your interactive sports show on a Thursday night, which is actually the premiere episode of All About Sports 216 as I roll into a new era. Before I was previously Locked On Sports 216, but I changed the name. Too many people with the same name Locked On. So I decided to go about it a different way. But here on All About Sports 216, I'm going to talk about the Cavs, the hottest team in the league. Then I'm also going to talk about the moves that have been made by the Cleveland Browns, as far as coaching moves and possible stadium possibility moves. And I'll also talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes men's and women's basketball teams, along with the Cleveland State Vikings men's and women's basketball teams. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about the Cleveland Guardians as they start spring training. And also, I'll go over some comments later on. And plus, also, I will also talk about, let me see, I give my shout outs for the week to the teams that deserve it. And they ain't got nothing to do with the 216 this week, unfortunately. But hopefully, they'll be in there for the shout outs of the week. But anyway, first off, before I do anything, I want to let y'all know real quick that please, as I do this, let me put this right here scrolling down at the bottom. Please subscribe. Uh-oh, gotta cut that out. Hold on. We gotta do a little quick editing real quick. On the spot. On the spot. There we go. Like this. There we go. Should be rolling in now. All right. First, subscribe to the Alanviz 2 Media YouTube channel. That's the Alanviz Media 2 YouTube channel. Wow, I said that wrong. Gots to do better. Subscribe to that. You'll get content from this show, content from the Triad Committee, and coming later on, at a later date, Mad Mondays. We'll be back sooner than later. Also, I want to go here. Let's see. This is an interactive show, but I'm going to go to the comments a little bit later. But this is an interactive show. The chat lines are open. Feel free to holler at me. Tell me what's up. Tell me if you like the show, if the show stinks, whatever. Anything. Holler at me about your sports takes and opinions. Holler at a brother. Also, before I go to anything, real quick, I want to talk about the stuff that went on in Kansas City yesterday during the Chiefs parade, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs parade. My prayers go out to the one person's family that died and the 22 or 23 others that suffered injuries due to the senseless violence that occurred yesterday at the parade, all I can say is what kind of time we are in now where you can't celebrate victories or you can't celebrate, period. What kind of time are we in now? I mean, it's sad, very sad time, especially when a team wins the Super Bowl 2 consecutive years. They've done it for the first time since the New England Patriots back in '03 and '04. And they done won the Super Bowl 3 times in the last 5 years. And this is what people do? Go out and start shooting up Super Bowl celebration parades? Really? You got to do better as people, everyone. We have to be better. But I want to do a moment in silence for the one young lady that passed away. She left 2 kids on this earth. And for the other 23 or 22 or 23 or so people that was injured during this craziness that's going on in the world. Okay. But first off, I want to get to, because like I said, and talk about the Cavaliers. And let me get my little template for the Cavs. Here we go. First off, I want to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and Cavalier news. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the hottest team in the NBA. They are. They're the hottest team in the league. The Cavs have won 18 of their past 20 games and went from ninth in the Eastern Conference standings all the way up to second. And think about this. They did most of this without even a full squad because you had Darius Garland was hurt for a while, and you had Evan Mobley that was hurt for a while. So the Cavs figured it out and adjusted. And now they're bringing them both back into the starting lineup, and they're doing a slight readjusting and everything. But the Cavs have a record of 36 and 17, which is good for second place in the Eastern Conference, behind the Boston Celtics, who are by far ahead of everyone in the East. Matter of fact, ahead of everyone in the league, if you want to say that right now. But the Cavs are heading into the All-Star break after defeating the Chicago Bulls last night, 106-103. Donovan Mitchell led the Cavs with 30 points. Isaac Okoro, who is having a sneaky good season, probably his best as a pro, chipped in 16 or 17. I think it was 16 or 17 points. And Darius Garland, on the way back from injury, hit a crucial three-pointer in the fourth quarter to put the Cavs up for good. All I can say this is for the Cavs, good win, especially after really a tough loss against the Philadelphia 76ers on Monday at home. And you didn't want to go into the All-Star break losing 2 in a row, and especially to an under 500 Chicago Bulls team. So, good win by the Cavs. Recharge yourselves for the All-Star break and get ready for the stretch run as they head to the playoffs, to the end of the season, to the playoffs. Now, things that to me that the Cavs need to work on as far as heading into the postseason, as far as for the rest of the season, is that they gotta incorporate Mobley and Garland in, slowly acclimate both those guys in, and JB has to get his rotation set as they head as they head towards the postseason. He has to get the rotation set. Because sometimes I'll be like, you know. But a lot of good things have came out of the Cavs in this first half of the season. One, Donovan Mitchell, he always does his due, regardless of the fact. He always does his due. But you also have Jared Allen. Dude has been a double-double machine for the Cavaliers. Isaac Okoro has been a demon defensively, and he's hitting a three-point shot. Sam Merrill, nobody knew what he could do last year when they picked him up. This year, hey, he's been hitting them threes. He's doing his thing, hitting them threes. And you also got Craig Porter. Craig Porter, congrats to him also. He just got signed to a 4-year deal, NBA standard contract, he was on a 2-way deal, undrafted out of Wichita State. And dude played huge minutes for the Cavs. And like I said, all they got to do is fine-tune themselves, stay reasonably healthy, and we'll see what happens in April and May. Because a lot of people think the Cavs have been under the radar and national media has not been talking about them. But like Donovan Mitchell said in an interview, a lot of people still have that memory of how the Cavs went out last year against New York in the playoffs, in the first round of the NBA playoffs. So until the Cavs basically show what they can do in April and late April and May, it is what it is right now. That's all I can say. But the Cavs head into the All-Star break, 36-17. Donovan Mitchell will be representing the Cavs in the All-Star game, even though I do personally think Jared Allen should have gotten in. But hey, get that rest and get ready for the long haul, for the stretch run and the playoffs. Congrats to the Cavs and keep doing what they do. But like I said, until they prove it in late April and May, they're going to remain under the radar. Just telling it like it is. They're going to remain under the radar. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to change the subject. We're going to pivot from the Cavs. We're going to pivot to the Browns. We're going to pivot to the Browns real quick. Let me get my thing here. Okay. We're going to pivot to the Browns as the Cleveland Browns have made some changes. Like I said, Cleveland Browns' latest moves, as they've made changes. Now the Browns, fresh off playoffs, 11-6, but they had to make some moves on the coaching staff, especially on the offensive coaching staff. Now the latest Browns hiring came far as on the offensive line, as they did hire Andy Dickerson, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks, as the new offensive line coach. And they also hired Ray Estevan as the assistant offensive line coach, along with Ken Dorsey. He's the new offensive coordinator. Out is Van Pelt, and out is Bill Callahan. Bill Callahan left to go join his son with the Tennessee Titans, as his son got a head coaching job. Congrats to him, and congrats to Bill Callahan getting to coach with his son. That's got to be a dream realized right there. Also, the Browns also hired Tommy Rees as the tight ends coach, along with Deuce Staley as the new running back coach. Out is Stump Mitchell. And they also hired a new defensive line coach, Jacques Cezier. That's the new D-line coach for the Browns. So, the Browns didn't stand pat with the coaching staff, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Especially. And all I can say is, we'll see what happens, because pretty soon, we're halfway through February, so pretty soon the free agent period and the combine will be coming up. So we'll see what happens with the Browns. We'll definitely see what happens. To me, the main needs for the Browns will be wide receiver. They could actually use a linebacker, or 2 or 3. And they could also, I'm honestly going to say, they need another running back. I honestly think they need another running back. If they get one in the draft, I'm cool with that, definitely. Because you got to look, they're expecting Nick Chubb back this year, but the question is, when will Nick Chubb be ready this season? And honestly, I don't think it's September, folks. I'm going to really be honest with you. I do not think it's September. So, we'll see. Stay tuned. And we'll see how Deshaun Watson and offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey can work out together. Ken Dorsey was I think, the quarterback's coach with Carolina, with Cam Newton, the year they went to the Super Bowl and Cam Newton was MVP. And he was the OC in Buffalo last year with Josh Allen. And Buffalo's offense was scoring a lot. I think Dorsey was made kind of a scapegoat because Buffalo had fallen on some hard times during the regular season, this past regular season. And I think he was made the scapegoat because I think McDermott days were numbered. So they had to get rid of somebody. Kind of reminds you of the San Francisco stuff that's going on with Shanahan letting go of Steve Wilkes. I guess somebody got to take the fall, huh? But anyway, we'll see what happens with the Browns right now. We'll see what happens. I think mainly they get that wide receiver position right, and they get another linebacker or 2 for defense. And also, can they restock the defensive line? Because a lot of those guys that they signed last year were 1-year deals. So that's going to be huge as well. But like I said, we will see what happens with the Browns. We'll definitely see what happens with the Browns. Well, I'm going to take a break. And when I come back, we're going to talk about Ohio State as they made changes with the men's basketball program. And I'm going to talk about the Ohio State men's, the Ohio State women's, the Cleveland State men's, and the Cleveland State women's basketball teams here on said the wrong name. Here on All About Sports 216. And I'll be right back after this break. So unique at 24 Karat Chocolate's Boutique, where she specializes in custom, handmade, professional t-shirts and hoodies for any occasions, uniforms, puzzles, and towels, and much more. Now don't take my word for it. The work speaks for itself. Let that be the new trendsetter. Customize the way you like it, either for family reunions, reunions, gender reveals, graduations, or just a graphic tee at 24 Karat Chocolate's Boutique. Go and check her out at 1-937-360-4386 or log on at 24ktchocolates.info.
You want combat? I'm on that real quick. Iron dragon with my sword. Lord, I'm so slick. Mano y mano, hand-to-hand combat. I suggest you go ahead, read my stats, homie. I'm all that. Mr. Hands of Death, peep my martial skills. I embark my will until it's fulfilled. You like a mannequin on the ground laying still. For real, I go home, meditate, circulate, cheat, practicing, sitting still. I yell out, get out. Today's not the day. I yell out, get out. Today's not the day. Don't let it ring out. Spill out. Better go on your way. Don't let it ring out. Spill out. Better go on your way.
Welcome back to All About Sports 216 with me, Keith Allen, on this chilly Thursday evening. Yo, gotta get you a t-shirt from Chocolate's Boutique, Miss Chocolate's Boutique. I got one right now. I got some of the work right now. Pretty nice. Representing Cleveland, representing. And also, check out the comic books from Katanda Studios, Iron Dragon. Shout out to my mans, Joe Gallup and my man Sean C. They doing big things and everything. But right now, we're going to talk about some college basketball, men's and ladies hoops. First, we're going to talk about Ohio State, as Ohio State is going through changes right now. Gone is Coach Chris Holtmann. Chris Holtmann had been at Ohio State for 7 years. He had a record of 137-86 with the Buckeyes. He had a 67-64 record in the Big Ten. This year, Ohio State was 14-11, but 4-10 in the Big Ten. And last year, the Ohio State Buckeyes was 16-19, finishing under 500. First losing season in almost 2 decades. Yikes. Yikes. First losing season in 2 decades for the Buckeyes. Man, Lord, how have the mighty have failed at Ohio State. All I can say is that they have fallen off, for real. It's to the point they have fallen off. I remember watching the games a lot, watching a lot of Ohio State games. I don't even watch the Ohio State games no more. The men's anyway. I don't damn sure watch the men's. I mean, they have fallen off. If I don't watch them, it's all bad. But potential candidates to replace Chris Holtzman is Sean Miller, the present coach of Xavier, Lamont Boris at South Carolina. I hope I said that name right. Dustin May of Florida Atlantic, Mick Cronin at UCLA, Nate Oates at Alabama, and Greg McDermott of Creighton. And I think Ohio State is going to make a hotshot hire for real for basketball, for the men's basketball coach. Because really right now, there's really not that much interest in the Ohio State men's hoops program for real, for real. Because truthfully, all you hear about is the football team and the ladies' Ohio State hoop team. Because, I mean, right now, they are struggling. They are struggling. And they're about to have a new athletic director. Gene Smith days is numbered. Ryan Day, hint, hint. all I'm saying is Rondé is going to have to get it done this year, too, on the football side for the Buckeyes. Because I'm going to say this. They done put the NIL money up where the mouth is. And if they don't beat Michigan this year, it's not going to be a time to be in Columbus. For real. It's not going to be a good time to be in Columbus. If they don't beat Michigan this year because there is no more Harbaugh, it's not going to be a good time in Columbus. But moving on to a better note. Now, it's just the opposite with the Ohio State women. The Ohio State women's basketball team is ranked number 2 in the country in the AP poll and in the coaches poll. The Ohio State women are 22-3 and have won 12 straight games and are in first place alone in the Big Ten. Shout out to the Lady Buckeyes and keep doing what y'all do. They got another game against Caitlin Clark in Iowa to end the season because they only got about 4 or 5 games left in the ladies' season for Ohio State, the regular season. They are going to the tournament. Unlike the men, the Ohio State girls are going to the tournament. But the Ohio State women, no joke. I watched their game against Iowa, which is on national TV. The Ohio State ladies are about their business on the hardwood. And keep it going, ladies. Definitely keep it going. Now, moving right along on the college basketball front, as we go to Cleveland State, local, Cleveland State Vikings, the men lost a heartbreaker at home last night as they lost to Wisconsin Milwaukee 71-68. Tough loss. Tristan Ariuna led the Vikings with 20 points and 8 rebounds, and Tay Williams added 12 with 7 rebounds. The Cleveland State men's team is 15-11 overall, 8-7 in the Horizon League. Their next game is going to be a tough one on Saturday as they take on Youngstown State. It's going to be a tough one for the Vikings because Youngstown State really put a whooping on them the last time them two teams faced each other up in Youngstown. They really put a whooping on them. So the Vikings got their work cut out for them this Saturday. Matter of fact, this Saturday it's going to be a doubleheader as far as the men's and women's basketball at the Wolstein Center. So if you a fan, check out the Vikings this Saturday. As the women Vikings, they won today in a matinee as they defeated Oakland 78-63. Michaela Purdue led the Vikings with 27 points. And Jordana Riesma had a double-double, 15 and 10. Now, the Cleveland State Lady Vikings are in first place in the Horizon League with a record of 21-4 and 12-2 in the conference, just ahead of the Wisconsin Green Bay Ladies. But the Wisconsin Green Bay Ladies haven't played yet. So, and the Lady Vikings have a game against Wisconsin Milwaukee on Saturday, right before the men's game at 12 p.m. at the Wolstein Center. So check that out. Support the Vikings. Definitely support the Vikings. Now, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to go and we're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk about some baseball. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians who had, let's just say, a disappointing season last year. Finished in third place in the AL Central. 76-86. You know you're in trouble if Detroit beat us out. So out is Terry Francona. N is new manager Stephen Vogt. Stephen Vogt said it wrong. The Guardians don't know what to expect this year, to be honest. Don't know what to expect. I know their pitching staff should be decent if healthy. Because a starting rotation of Shane Bieber, if he stays, if the Guardians don't trade him, starting rotation of Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, um, oh my God, Logan Allen, Gavin Williams, and Tanner Bybee should be pretty formidable. Now the bullpen, ebbs and flows. The bullpen wasn't as effective as they were the year before when the Guardians won the AL Central, but the bullpens go from year to year. Clase should have a rebound season this year. But think about this. Clase had an off year last year, but yet he still led the American League in saves. Go figure. Go figure. Go figure. And they acquired a pitcher, Barlow. They acquired Barlow. He should help in the bullpen. Um, they didn't really do much, if you really want to be honest. They acquired Barlow. Then they also reacquired Austin Hedges, catcher Austin Hedges. He should help out with Bo Naylor behind the plate, as far as experience wise and how to handle the pitching staff and what so. Now the questions with the Guardians is for real, who is going to play shortstop this year? Who's going to be regular shortstop? And who in the world is going to be in the outfield with Stephen Kwan? I mean, for real, who's going to be in the outfield with Stephen Kwan? Because we can't possibly trot out that lineup they trotted out last year, where your whole outfield, Kwan had 5 home runs, Will Brennan had 5 home runs, and Miles Straw had a home run. 11 home runs in the starting outfield. That's the worst in the major leagues. They were last in the major leagues in home runs last year. And like I said, this spring training will be interesting. Now, we're going to see. I'm going to put this thing up right here. I'm going to show you the prospects that they have. They got plenty of them that's coming in the spring training camp that's on the 40-man roster, as I'm about to show you. Okay, Guardians top spring training prospects. Brian Rocchio, shortstop, second base. He had a cup of tea up here last year. Daniel Espino, right-hand pitcher. If the rotation stays healthy, if they trade Bieber, might see Espino up here. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Espino, didn't he have surgery last year? Then in the outfield, where I'm going to be honest, it should be an open trial. Because besides Kwan, that's the only outfielder I got in the starting lineup for the Guardians. Daniel Espino was the number 3 pitching prospect. Brian Rocco is the number 1 prospect for the Guardians. Also, George Valera, outfielder. George, this your chance to step up, buddy. Juan Brito, infielder. If you can play first base. Angel Martinez, infielder. I think he was up. I don't know if he was up last year or not. I'm not sure. No, he wasn't up last year. Angel Martinez, the number 10 prospect. Their number 11 prospect, Joey Cantillo, left-hand pitcher. Hey, I love having left-hand pitchers on the staff. Maybe it's because I'm left-handed. I don't know. But the number 12 prospect, Davijon De Los Santos, third base and first base. Well, we all know he ain't going to play third base here. But let's see what the brother man can do at first. Because, hey, you got to open it. I don't want to see Josh Naylor playing first this year. Number 15, Jose Tena, shortstop. Number 25, guy I covered a little bit last year when he was at Akron, Jonathan Rodriguez in the outfield. He's a right fielder. The dude has a gun. He has a gun. And number 29, Joenski Noel, outfielder, third baseman, first baseman. Big guy, too, can hit. And I'm going to be honest, my main focus is on the outfield. We got 1, 2, 3 prospects in the outfield. And they all need to get their fair shots. Because judging from that outfield that we had last year, man, we can't possibly trot that out again this year. I mean, for real, this year. But honestly, I don't even know how to forecast the Guardians, for real, because to be honest, they can win either with the pitching and the bullpen, the pitching of the bullpen. I would say they top wall to me would be about 84 games, honestly, because all depends who the Guardians play in the outfield and how that batting order comes out. Because you already know what Ramirez can do. You already know what brothers Naylor can do. Even though Bo Naylor start coming on this late, you know what big brother Josh can do. And Bo, he's still a kid, but he showed promise last year with the bat. And Jimenez got to have a redemption season because he kind of slumped at the plate last year. But he was solid at second base. Very solid defensively. But he kind of fell off hitting wise. And the main question for the Guardians is who's going to play first base and who's going to play short? Is it going to be Rocchio? Or is it going to be Gilbert Arias? Even though they got him listed as an outfielder on the 40-man roster. Or is it going to be Jimenez? Because that's where Jimenez originally played when he first came here. He was the shortstop. So, but Santana started playing so good, then they moved Jimenez to second, and he's been there ever since. But there's a possibility Jimenez can be moved back to short. But they're hoping either Rocchio or Arias or somebody can come through, either for Arias at shortstop or in the outfield. Because he did play a lot of outfield last year for the Guardians. And the outfield, like I said, this should be an open trial. For real, open trial. Because they can't possibly trot out what they had last year again this season. And that's just being on the honest side, for real. They cannot. But we'll see. Spring training, the pitchers and catchers are already in camp. They reported February the 12th. The rest of the squad, pitchers in camp, had their first workout today, February 15th. The rest of the squad reports February 18th. And the first full squad workout is February 20th for the Guardians. Good luck to the Guardians. Hopefully they can find the right guys in the outfield to go with Stephen Kwan. Especially some power. Because I say if I'm the Guardians, I'm moving Kwan to center. And whoever want to battle it out and win the job in left and right, go at it. And like I said, Miles Straw, excellent defensive outfielder, center fielder, but bats 205, 215, nah. He'll be a late inning pinch runner or defensive replacement. Will Brennan, he could be a good utility backup outfielder. He could be a fourth or fifth outfielder. But we will see in spring training in Arizona. We will definitely see what comes up and what comes down. Now, we're going to go to a part of the show here at the end of the show. Since I'm at the end, that time done went quick. Wow, time went quick. Here on a new thing I'm doing on All About Sports 216 is my All About Sports shout outs. My All About excuse me. My All About shout outs this week. And I'm gonna give a shout out to the first one is the Cavs guard, Craig Porter Jr. Got 3 of them. First one, Craig Porter Jr. He got an NBA contract the other day. Congrats to him. He graduated from the 2-way contract. Porter played well in his minutes given. And sometimes I wonder, why doesn't JB play this kid more often? Why, JB? If you're not going to get a backup point guard, play the kid. This is the time to play him so he be ready, because you never know what can happen in April and May. You might need him in the pinch. Play Craig Porter, please. Play the guy. Play the kid. Play Craig Porter. Also, I want to give another shout out. Another shout out to the University of Detroit Mercy Titans. They finally won their first game last night. They finally won their first game last night as they defeated. Let me look here. I gotta go to my cheat sheet here. Let me look. But anyway, they broke a 27-game losing streak, which has been the longest in the Horizon League. Imagine losing 27 games in college. Ooh, wee. Congrats to them. And it was funny because when they won, only one person got out on the court, celebrated on the court last night when they won. But shout out to the Detroit Mercy Titans as they got their first victory of the season as they defeated the University of Indiana University Purdue University 81-66. Jay Stone led Detroit with 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Now, and let's see, what is the Titans' record? The Titans are now 1-15 in the conference and 1-26 overall, 1-15 in the Horizon League. But thank God y'all got the win. I ain't want y'all to go unwinnable for the whole season. But I damn sure didn't want y'all to beat Cleveland State either, because I would have really been feeling some type of way. But congrats to the Detroit Mercy Titans in the Horizon League in men's college basketball. They don't have to have a donut until going into the off season. And my third all about shout out this week goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. I'm going to admit, I'm going to be honest, I had the Chiefs marked for dead against Buffalo. When they had to travel to Buffalo, they came out of it. Then, that wasn't all. I had them marked for dead against the Baltimore Ravens, who ran through the regular season, ran through the Houston Texans. But They lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. 17-10, shut that high-powered offense down. And then, but I will say this, and I caught it from a lot of Kansas City fans on one of my clips on one of my previous shows that I did with my man Ed in Columbus, who he was doing the playoff picks. Oh my God, they let me hear it. Shout out to the KC Chiefs fans. Shout out to y'all. But shout out to the KC Chiefs. I had y'all winning the Super Bowl, though. They beat the San Francisco 49ers 25-22. The Niners thought they could win with field goals and missed opportunities. And when you give Pat Mahomes missed opportunities, usually doesn't end up well. For real, doesn't end up well. I could tell you right now, I knew KC was going to win the game in overtime when San Francisco chose to take the kickoff first. Well, not the kick, yeah, the kickoff, yeah. Chose to receive in overtime. And for some ungodly reason, they used the run to get down to the field, but then when they got into the red zone, they started wanting to pass. And it looked like to me, with Shanahan, he kind of had the Pete Carroll syndrome when Seattle was at the 1 yard line and he decided to pass instead of giving it to Beast Mode. Same thing. Same thing happened this past Sunday in the Super Bowl. McCaffrey was popping him. McCaffrey should have ran the ball 30 times. 30, 35 times. But no, I wanted to pass. Thought you was fooling somebody. Then you had, everybody knows, with Spagnuolo coach, defensive coach teams, that he's going to send the house at you. But Shanahan and them didn't pay that no attention, I guess. But yet, they fired Steve Wilkes. But shout out to the KC Chiefs. 2 consecutive Super Bowl wins in a row. First time done in almost 20-something years with the New England Patriots in 03 and 04. Shout out to the Chiefs. 3 Super Bowls in 5 seasons. And just imagine this. If it hadn't have been for a penalty in the first game when first year Mahomes was starter in the AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots, this might be their 4th in 6 years. And all I got to say now about the Chiefs is this is probably, how can I say, the weakest, the most vulnerable this team was this past football season. And trust and believe, Andy Reid ain't going to let them go out like that next year, especially now that he has company in the AFC West with Jim Harbaugh just accepting the job with the Chargers. And he got a stud quarterback too, Justin Herbert, but it's been yet to be seen if he can win when he has to win, when it matters the most. So, and I'm like this, if people, I ask myself and I say, I'm like, if Baltimore couldn't win against KC now, who is going to beat Kansas City in the future? Unless injuries play a part too, unless Mahomes or something gets hurt or something like that, which tells me, far as in the pecking order of the AFC, the Browns got a ways to climb still, and they've came a long way. But think about this: the quarterbacks in the AFC, you have to deal. And I'm just going. Deshaun Watson has to ball out this year, and this is why they made changes on offense. to do everything to suit tailored to your quarterback to be successful. Because if you look at the quarterbacks in the AFC, if you go to AFC East, you got Josh Allen. He ain't going no damn where. He a one-man wrecking game. You got Tua Tagovailoa with the Miami Dolphins. He ain't to be slept on. And you also got Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. And then let's go to our division, the friendly AFC North, where you got Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow will be back. And Joe Burrow, the only guy that's came close to beating Mahomes in the AFC, to be honest. If Cincinnati wouldn't have had a lack in judgment and got a unnecessary roughness penalty, who knows? Cincinnati probably would have beat KC twice. You got Joe Burrow. We have Deshaun. And then who knows what Pittsburgh might do? Because one thing about Pittsburgh, they're going to be solid on defense. They just need a guy in the center. Then you go to the AFC South. Man. With Indianapolis, you got Anthony Richardson. He showed promise before he got hurt last year. You got Trevor Lawrence at Jacksonville. And we got the guy that kicked our asses out of the playoffs. And Houston got the guy that kicked our asses out of the playoffs. C.J. Stroud of the Ohio State University, by the way. So, and in the AFC West, you got the King, Mahomes. You got Justin Herbert. Right now, you got Russell Wilson in Denver, but I don't think he's going to be in Denver too much longer. So, the Browns got their work cut out for them to get to the level of the Chiefs. And think about this. This was probably the most vulnerable edition of the Chiefs that's going to be. Think about that. But anyway, shouts out to the KC Chiefs for getting it done. Even though I had y'all marked for dead, y'all handled y'all motherfucking business. Flat out. Shout out to the Chiefs. But anyway, that just about wraps up my show, All About Sports 216. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. If you like what you see, like the video and share it. Share it with your folks. It's a new beginning. I'll be coming on every Thursday at 6 p.m. That's every Thursday at 6 p.m. Everybody have a good night, good weekend, and enjoy the All-Star festivities as they go back to the old school East-West format for the All-Star game, which I'm glad, because the way they is having to pick up and all that, I wasn't feeling it and everything. I wasn't feeling it at all. Then they had to stop. It just turned into to me, it was just basically a shit show. But enjoy All-Star Weekend. Everybody have a safe weekend. And prayers up to the people in Kansas City. And we got to cut out this senseless nonsense and senseless violence that is plaguing our country. But anyway, this is your man, Keith Allen, for All About Sports 216, signing out. Peace. Have a good night. See you next week. And be safe and sound. And know of your surroundings. I'm out.
In it for the love of the sport.
Love, man.
We the real McCoys, running the full court.
Yeah.
We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North.
Smash mouth,
We in
baby.
it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court.
Full
We in
court.
it for the love of AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport.
Love, man.
We the real McCoys, running the full